Chicago reversed a river and changed America.
It rose from ashes again and again. Before steel, there was ice. Stay to see how it happened. 10,000 years ago, a glacier carved this shoreline. Prairies, wetlands, bison, nature set the stage. Indigenous nations traded here following a muddy portage between waters. In 1673, French explorers paddled into the Great Lakes frontier. By the 1780s, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable built a trading post. This river mouth became a crossroads, people, goods, and stories. In 1803, Fort Dearborn rose beside the river, wood walls against uncertainty. War came in 1812. The fort fell, but the location endured. 1833, a town on mud streets lifting itself above swampy ground. On March 4th, 1837, Chicago became a city. Small, loud, ambitious. 1848 opened the Illinois and Michigan Canal, linking the Great Lakes to the Mississippi. Engineers literally raised buildings on jacks, creating streets above the muck. Rails converged. Chicago became America's switchyard, where grain and people moved fast. In 1860, crowds roared inside the Wigwam as Lincoln won the nomination. 1865, the Union Stockyards opened, an industrial river of cattle and steam. At the Board of Trade, prices flickered. Chicago invented modern commodity markets. October 1871, firestorm, wooden city, dry wind, flames sprinted block to block. From ash, builders rewrote the skyline. The water tower stood as a survivor. 1885, steel frames climbed upward. Chicago's skyscraper age began. 1886, Haymarket, labor, and industry collided, echoing through America's streets. 1892, the L rattled above streets, elevated rails stitching neighborhoods together. 1893, the white city dazzled. Electric light, grand domes, a future on display. On the Midway, the first Ferris wheel lifted the world above Chicago. 1894 Pullman strike, rail cars stopped, workers marched, and the nation watched. To save drinking water, crews dug a canal, an engineering gamble at colossal scale. In 1900, Chicago reversed its river, turning pollution away from Lake Michigan. 1909, Burnham's plan imagined boulevards and lakefront parks, beauty with muscle. Factories hummed, immigrants packed tenements, forming Chicago's languages block by block. The Great Migration reshaped the South Side. Blues and jazz poured into night. Prohibition birthed speakeasies and gangs. Chicago's nightlife glittered under danger. 1933, a century of progress, streamlined steel and neon optimism beside the lake. In the Depression, lines stretched long. New Deal projects kept the city moving. December 1942, under a stadium, Chicago sparked the first controlled nuclear chain reaction. World War II turned Chicago into an arsenal, factories, rail yards, and non-stop shifts. Post-war highways carved through neighborhoods, cars poured in, and some people out. Jet engines roared at O'Hare, shrinking distances and expanding Chicago's reach. In the 1960s, marchers demanded fair housing, justice echoing down city blocks. 1968, protests, police lines, TV cameras. Chicago became a national mirror. 1973, the Sears Tower rose like a black monolith, steel bundled into the sky. Architects reinvented modernism. Glass and grid lines met the lake's endless horizon. 1983 brought Harold Washington, hope, conflict, and a new chapter in City Hall. In basements and warehouses, house music was born, 4 beats that went global. 1992, a hidden tunnel leak flooded the loop, subways, basements, the city's veins. 1995, heat pressed down. Tragedy sparked new warning systems and neighborly checks. In the 1990s, the Bulls turned arenas into thunder. Chicago wore 6 rings of pride. Every spring, the river turns green, proof this city still loves spectacle. 2004, Millennium Park opened, the bean reflecting 1 million faces and skies. 2008, Grant Park erupted. Chicago watched one of its own reach the presidency. New towers rose along the river. Cranes wrote fresh lines into the skyline. The Riverwalk returned people to the water. Cafes, kayaks, and blue-lit nights. On the 606, an old rail line became a park in the air. 2016, after a century, the Cubs finally won. Wrigley shook like an earthquake. Neighborhoods fed the world, deep dish, jibberitos, tacos, culture on every corner. 2020 fell silent. Masks, sirens, empty trains, the city holding its breath. Then streets filled with voices, protest, grief, and a demand to be seen. Festivals returned, music in parks, fireworks over the lake, life restarting in color. In 2023, downtown became a racetrack, engines echoing between glass canyons. August 2024, the Democratic Convention came back. Delegates, protests, and spotlight nights. By 2025, green roofs and flood plans grew. Chicago, learning to live with storms. In 2026, commuters still ride the L past Old Brick, New Glass, and Lake Light. One shoreline, endless reinventions. That's Chicago, still building, still becoming. Subscribe and I'll show you Chicago's hidden layers.